What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2 here. Now, I had stumbled across this video with Don Lemon. Remember last week it was reported that Sabrina Morrissey said no to Wendy going to dinner with her niece and the lawyer? Well, funny story, Don Lemon actually ended up going to dinner with Wendy that night. And it's what he didn't say that got me like thinking, oh, Sabrina is okay with Wendy meeting whoever, but just not the lawyer, because the lawyer is trying to help her get out this guardianship. So let's go ahead and do a live reaction. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and hit y'all with the intro. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get to it.
With Wendy Williams, Wendy called me up and said, hey, I need to get out of this place. I need to get out of this place. Will you take me to dinner on Thursday? My niece will be here and we can go out and it'll be great. And yes, I said, of course, I said yes. And I can't even imagine how she feels being in that place. You know, she's in this conservatorship or guardianship and it's very strange. She's in this memory unit and she's been reaching out to people to try to get help with it. And now she has, as her personal attorney, joetacopina. And so I honestly, I said yes, and then I forgot, and I got a text from.
And Joe is the one that got ASAP Rocky off, by the way. So this is a good lawyer.
The text, I got a missed call because she can't text. I got a missed call from Wendy saying, and it reminded me like, oh my gosh, yes, this is Thursday, and I'm supposed to have dinner with Wendy. And so I contacted her niece, and I didn't hear back. And then I was in the middle of the show, and I get a text right about to finish my show. In the evening, and I get a text from joetacopina, who's our attorney, saying, you know, call me ASAP. And so I did, and he said, wait a minute, I can't get to go to dinner with Wendy, but you can, which is bizarre because
ding, 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 ding. Remember, the reports were saying she couldn't go to dinner, so I was under the impression that Wendy didn't go to dinner at all. So with that being said, oh, you didn't want Wendy to meet up with her lawyer, so you denied her. And by the way, Sabrina Morrissey is the guardian. Denied Wendy access to go see this lawyer during dinner, but it's okay with Don Lemon because it's Don Lemon. And mind you, we've been very critical of how Don Lemon has handled the whole Wendy Williams situation, but I'll let him go ahead and continue. I actually like this conversation that he had with Wendy.
Because I think what happened was that the conservator said, by the way, this is my Wendy mug. And just so you know, my 10 o'clock show, my live show, 10 o'clock Eastern show called Hot Topics, it is an ode to the Wendy Williams Hot Topics. So I borrowed from her, which she borrowed from Barbara Walters on The View. But anyways, according to what I just read, I didn't know the full story last night because I didn't ask, I don't pry, because it's not about reporting on Wendy. I don't give you details about her life. I just tell you about what I feel I can share about our conversation. But I don't think they would let her go with her attorney, who is joetacopina, who's her personal attorney, but somehow they would let her niece meet me. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it's been written about. I think it's on TMZ, so check it out. But we had a fantastic dinner. I managed to get a reservation.
Exactly. So she could meet up with Don Lemon, but not the lawyer. They're trying to keep her in this conservatorship or guardianship. The thing is that, okay, we don't want it to look like we're holding Wendy prisoner. Because it wasn't until Wendy started speaking out within the last few months, it seemed like they started letting Wendy come outside, right? Because beforehand, we hadn't seen Wendy. We didn't know where she was. As this thing got media attention, it seemed like, okay, we got to prove that we're not holding her hostage. We have to prove that she's allowed to go outside. Because the way the guardianship is telling it, oh, Wendy can come and go as she wants. She can go in and out, you know. She's just living here, but she can go outside if she wants to. So it's all like, now that it got the media attention, now they're giving Wendy a little bit more leeway. However, they're controlling who she can see and who she can't see, right?
Reservation the last minute, we met up. And I'm glad I did because I saw Wendy. It's different when interviewing her and talking to her on the phone. But I've known Wendy for a long time. We're not best friends, but we've known each other for a while. And I think, you know, as it goes for friendships with Wendy, I think maybe she's not that close to many people, even family members. So, you know, just the fact that I do have interactions with her, I think is pretty important and pretty special. So we went to dinner and I was so glad to see her because she looks really great. She looks so much better When she came to visit me at my house, she was not in a good way. She was going through the divorce, and she was not in a good headspace. She was dealing with some issues that I won't share, whatever. Anyway, and now she's a completely different person. She's lighter, she's freer. Her energy was better. You know, you can feel people, you can feel like what they're going through and all those things. She just felt lighter, better, and freer, but not as free as she can be. And she was happy to be there. And she said, Don, I'm going to eat everything in the place. And she kind of did. And it was great. I'm happy she did. You know, the chef, the restaurant brought a little tray over of an appetizer, and they said, oh, this is courtesy of the chef, whatever. And she ate that. And then she said, can we get another one? And we laughed. Everyone laughed. It was great. And so she got a big meal. It was an Italian restaurant. And it was good that she ate, because she said the food in the place where she is not great. She compares it to, like, you know, she says it's like an old folks home, her words. And like, she feels.
I know that food gotta be nasty. See, literally, Wendy is just happy to get out the house. Like, if you see Wendy, like, when the paparazzi catches her, she's smiling, she's waving at them. Beforehand, Wendy would have ignored the paparazzi, but she's just so happy to have human interaction. She's literally locked up in a room somewhere, waving at people from her window. It's crazy.
Feels like she's in jail. You've heard that before too. So I'm not sharing anything that's that is not, you know, out there in the public, except for like this was, as I'm taping this, it was last night that I had dinner with her, and I wrote about it, and I'm going to read it to you. But it really was eye-opening to me about a lot of things, about people who go through things, about resilience, about the different standards that we have for women, especially aging. And when I thought about, you know, having all of your issues out there, her addiction issues, her mental health issues, everything, her family issues, all of it, like out there in the public, and still having to deal with things, it's not easy. Like, fame is not what like many people think about it. Fame is a powerful drug that can go either way. It can be a drug where it's euphoric, or it can be a downer. It can be a drug that is, quite frankly, a killer. Right? It's fame. I'd rather have money than fame. Okay, and I know people.
But even with that said, Wendy did Hot Topics, and she talked about celebrities. So honestly, this is her turn in the hot seat now that she done became the hot topic. But I mean, it comes with the territory, right? We all get our turn in the chair. I mean, recently I've been getting kind of beat up from people on YouTube. So yeah, it's just your turn in the hot seat, right?
People have issues with money. Some people say, I would rather have both, but fame can really, really fuck you up. Yeah, it can be addictive, but then people are all in your business, and you don't have the freedom that you wish that you had before, when people chase that. And I'm not saying Wendy chased fame, but she's just a very famous person. So look, on my Substack, you should, I'm going to read it to you, but you can also go, if you want to see the you know, the rest of the story or whatever, or see it, you can go to donlemon.com. It'll take you to my Substack. And I write about personal issues like this on my Substack all the time that I don't get to talk to as much as I would like to on the YouTube channel. So it's on my Substack, and I'm going to read it, some of it, so you can see it. And it's called Wendy Williams Without Apology. Okay. And it says, what one dinner taught me about aging, reinvention, and how women are expected to disappear. In that one, it was really eye-opening to me. So I said, the first thing I saw was a scooter, red, with a Louis Vuitton looking bag hanging off the handlebars like a punchline only Wendy could deliver. Of course, she was easing herself onto the sidewalk in front of Il Cantinori. Fur jacket brushing against the wind, paparazzi already circling. There was commotion, figuring out where the scooter should go, how to make an entrance without turning it into a spectacle. But with Wendy, that line doesn't really exist. And then there's a photograph of us in front of the restaurant. Now, let me tell you about this photograph, by the way. So I ran out to help her. And as I was running out, someone said, Don, Wendy, or whatever, or they just said, like, smile. And so I turned and smiled. But look, this is just in a moment, right? You see her nieces behind her talking. There's a guy behind her, there's a niece's boyfriend who's helping. There's the arm of the person coming out of the door who's from the restaurant who's trying to help. And I had just walked out to grab. She didn't even notice that it was me until we got into the restaurant, because this was just in a moment. And by the way, I said Louis Vuitton in this story, but I think the little bag on the front of her scooter is actually Chanel. But anyways, that's a minor detail. So she didn't even see me at first. Too busy managing the scene, the flashes, the cold, the moment. We didn't really connect until we sat down at the table. That's when she turned to me, eyes wide, and she said, oh my God, Don, I didn't even notice. I was so focused on getting my scooter settled with all the cameras out there. And so she won her scooter settled. she was like, this is New York City. Is someone going to steal it? Because they put it on the front sort of patio, porch, terrace looking thing that usually for during warmer months is where they.
That's funny. So they put the scooter in the front of the building. Not, I would think like they would have a spot for her to put her scooter in, because what if you have a wheelchair? Don't you would take the wheelchair in with you? It's not like the person gets up and walk. Like if they're wheelchair bound, why didn't they allow her to have the scooter? I don't know. It's all a little weird. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video right there. I just kind of wanted to let you hear from Don Lemon. He said, you know, he's seen Wendy. It taught him about aging, and you know, go check out the Substack. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. I just wanted to point out the main point was, yo, Wendy is not allowed to see who she want to see, i.e., her lawyer, the most important person who's trying to get her out this guardianship. She can't even see. So this lets me know, oh, the guardian don't want her to see the lawyer, but everybody else, yeah, as long as you can't see the lawyer, that's all they care about, because they want to keep her in this guardianship. It's sad. But there's going to be more details coming out about Wendy and how she even got in this conservatorship, because a lot of shady characters, as we already know, but more will be revealed. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you get more updates on Wendy, as well as hitting that like button. And make sure when you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're aware of every time I go live. All right, y'all. Deuces. We out.